The judicial system brings together centuries-old ideals and with modern efficiency that one might expect to find in a busy airport instead. This is Judge Carl Fox, the resident Superior Court judge for Orange and Chatham counties. He has presided over felonies and large civil cases since 2005, after serving as district attorney for more than 20 years. He brings a human touch into the mix of idealism and efficiency. There is no normal day for Judge Fox, as where he holds court and the cases in front of him change at least once a week. About half of his time is spent between Orange County, which he calls home, and Chatham County, which makes up the other half of Judicial District 15B. But he is frequently assigned to serve in Raleigh, Charlotte, and other further flung corners of the state. Some days he presides over trials for heinous crimes, like a father who was accused and later convicted of shaking his infant daughter to death. But far more often, the people who appear in front of him are addicted or otherwise stuck in the cycle of poverty, too easily forgotten by the rest of society. They are there because the system failed them, and one mistake began a years-long journey through the criminal justice system. You do not have to talk with Judge Fox for long to realize that he sees his role a little differently than many judges. When he puts on his robe each morning, Judge Fox brings experience from his own struggles, old and new, and a strong belief that people have the ability to change. Judge Fox's childhood home in Mount Olive is far different from where he lives today. His father struggled with alcoholism after returning from World War II, and he worked odd jobs to help the family make ends meet. In high school, he was one of the first 25 students to integrate schools in Wayne County. Although he got along well with many of the white students, after developing friendships working alongside some in a bean processing plant the summer before, a riot over integration broke out in the school during his senior year. Being one of the only black people in white-dominated spaces was not something that would end after high school for Judge Fox. As a young district attorney in the 1970s, the reception he received across Orange and Chatham counties was not as universally warm as it is today. You could never tell from the great friendship that Judge Fox and Claxton, the owner of Johnson's Drive-In in Siler City, share now. But when he first started coming to the restaurant in the 1970s, he was not as welcome. As Judge Fox said, "If I had judged Claxton and the restaurant only by my first experience, I would never have come back, but people change." Everyone in the restaurant knows the two men and is quick to talk about how they have grown close over the last 4 decades. They trade tales of family, friends, and side effects from chemotherapy, as Claxton is in the thick of a battle with cancer. Even with such a heavy topic, a hearty laugh is never too far away. Judge Fox left behind a cheesecake, something he makes weekly to give to friends and coworkers, but more importantly, he left Claxton with a smile and inspiration to keep fighting. Claxton's daughter Carolyn would later say that Judge Fox's visit brought out the best she had seen in her father in months. After successfully battling myelodysplastic syndrome, a type of bone cancer, in 2015 and 2016, Judge Fox is a great source of hope for all sorts of people battling cancer. Judge Fox has dedicated a great deal of his time over the past few years to helping others beat the odds as he did. When he was struggling to find a donor for a much-needed bone marrow transplant, Save the Fox was started as a drive led by Judge Fox's wife, Julia, that registered more than 4,000 new potential donors. The movement continues to this day with regular fundraisers and the Fox's dedication to providing support for others fighting the same fight, like Embry, who is a 12-year-old in the midst of receiving treatment for leukemia. Back in the courthouse, Judge Fox brings all of his experience and personality. It is clear that whether you are a police officer, highly educated attorney, or a defendant overwhelmed by the legal system, Judge Fox has respect for you. He is constantly studying to understand what the law requires, but his dedication goes beyond the text to think through the details and overarching goals of the legal process. That means ensuring that defendants' families have a chance to hug them before they go to jail so that they remember there are people who believe in them. It also means taking a vocal stance on how probation is tilted against those who are poor, making it a personal policy to refuse to punish defendants for their inability to pay fines, even when other judges and district attorneys do not agree. However, Judge Fox does not see himself as lenient. He says it is a matter of understanding that there are human beings on both sides of the equation, and knowing that even if you are not in their position, you can feel their pain. With the constant diet of struggle he sees in court, one would not fault Judge Fox for being solemn, but that could not be further from the truth. He is never too far from a wide smile or infectious laugh, always grateful for the time that he has to serve the community and treasure great relationships with friends and family.